right, so now we're gonna apply those transit essentials, some of the anatomical stuff, to the guitar, and we're gonna learn correct technique right off the bat, not waste any time. Let's go. So, if you're in proper playing position, right? So just as a reminder, you're gonna sit up straight, guitar on the right leg like this, arm right on top of the guitar. And actually, as a side note, one way to check again correctly if you're holding the guitar correctly, you can do this right now with me, is you can see our hands resting and holding the neck like this. If you actually just let go with your hand, and if you're holding the guitar correctly, you'll notice it'll move the neck a little bit. You almost want to be pushing a little bit. If you're relaxing, this will happen organically, but that'll actually help push the guitar neck into your fingers. That's kind of a cue or a little protocol you can do to help. So we're in playing position. We're holding our pick correctly, right? Show me how you're holding your pick. Let's make sure it's good, right? Pick's pointing down, thumb's going out like a T or a cross. Okay, so we're in good position. If we just rest our hands here in playing position on the guitar, you'll notice that nice 45-degree line, right? Like a triangle, not like this, not like this. Matter of fact, I see this a lot in my private teaching business. People will very often, right, have their elbow and arm over the guitar like this and play. I call this caveman style, right? Because it kind of looks like me play guitar, right? You don't want that. You want, again, that arm resting on top, shoulders nice and relaxed, kind of, just back ever so slightly. It should feel very natural and comfortable. 45-degree, right? See that? Boom. Okay, so now I want you to do something. We are going to go supine. So we're going to supinate this really quick, our picking hand, right? Which would mean this. Now, what you might notice when I do that is that the pick is pointing actually upwards towards my face. So funnily enough, the word for this in the guitar sphere, the guitarosphere, when the pick's pointing up towards your face like that, like the tip is going towards your face, this is actually called a downward pick slant. That's one of the words for it. But yeah, downward pick slant when the pick's pointing up towards your face. Okay, so supinate with me really quick. Whoosh. Okay, nice supination, looks good. Now we're gonna pronate, right, which would be this on guitar if you look really carefully. And if you look at that, it's kind of the opposite. So supination, pronation. I'm exaggerating these movements, right? But sometimes it's good to exaggerate stuff to like really see and understand it so you can get a feel for it before it gets too microscopic or miniature or granular. So, okay, now this pronation movement right here on guitar, that's called an upward pick slant. So we have downward pick slant, upward pick slant. There are some other words and terms used around, again, the guitar sphere and YouTube and amongst guitar player circles for this. I still like the words downward pick slant and upward pick slant. That's just what I roll with. But it's not so important the name, but really you see how it looks, right? Downward, upward. Downward, upward. Okay, now so here's the rule. I'm not sure, this is important, I'm not sure if you've tried this yet or not, but maybe you've picked up your guitar and maybe you know some chords already, maybe you don't, but maybe you've tried to strum the guitar just like this, or maybe you do it with a chord, but you get this type of sound. It sounds like, right? Doesn't sound very good. That's a very common problem. Everybody does that. Okay, well, guess what? If you can remember this will completely solve that forever. Okay, so here's the rule. This is actually a rule that applies to both strumming and picking. So anytime you're crossing the strings with a downstroke, not a downstroke. You're crossing the strings with a downstroke, S-T-R-O-K-E. You want to be slightly supinated. You see that? Okay? Crossing down with a downstroke. And again, a downstroke would either be a strum movement like that, right? Which we'll get more of that in just a moment, like how to do that. Or doing some downward wrist deviation, again, which we'll cover more when we get into picking single note stuff. But downstroke, you want to be slightly supinated because this allows the pick to escape the strings and roll or bounce off of them without getting caught in between the strings, which is huge. Okay, I'm going to show you. So, right, going downward through the strings, downstroke, downward pick slanted. If you look at the pick, you'll notice that it is escaping the strings and bouncing across them quite nicely if I go down. Okay? Right? If I don't do that, we get feel it get caught and stuck, and yeah, right, not good. Even worse if I pronate on the way down. I mean, I see this a lot actually. People do this a lot, but yeah, you don't ever want to do that. You can't even play. Okay, so right, strumming down, right, and you can even see again, it's so the pick can literally bounce and escape off of the strings. Okay, if we're going up, right, and we're just explaining the rules here again. We're not doing any strumming exercises just yet. We're about to do that really soon, but I want you to get really familiar with this first before we even do that. If you go up, okay, we're crossing with an upstroke, which would be like an upward strum or an up movement or like an up pick stroke, right? And we're crossing strings, right? This is very important when you're crossing strings, especially when we're string. You want to be pronated, slightly pronated like so. And again, I'm exaggerating it a little bit. Right, so pronation. You can see if I don't do that, no bueno, right? You can't do it, right? So supination, pronation, supination, pronation, supination, pronation. I'm gonna play just for another second here so you can really see and hear it. Right, you can see without those movements and understanding that, you're not going to get a very good sound. Okay, so it's a combination of all of that stuff. So we're going to do a little protocol here as well. I want you to, with your wrist, okay, I want you to have that slight downward pick slant, and don't even fret anything yet. We're not there yet, just this hand. And I want you to very lightly, we're going to do our first down strum together now, but I want you to get set up. Do that supination first. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use, if you look at the strumming motion and the strumming mechanic, okay, it's a combination of forearm, like arm and wrist, okay, arm and wrist. There's even a little bit of like shoulder, and I can feel some neck muscles and back muscles involved too. But if you look at the motion, you can see it's a combination of arm and wrist. And what I want you to do now is just to go down like this while maintaining a supinated downward pick slant. Just go down through the strings, just like that. Down through the strings, just like that, okay? And again, look at the forearm, look at the wrist, it's a combination of both, right? We're almost like creating a semicircle, like a rainbow type arch to the guitar. Okay, you see that? All right, now just go down again. Okay, just go down, right? And then now I want you to pronate and go up. Just a few ups like this. Just get the feel for it. Just get the feel for it. You'll notice that the ups are definitely more awkward. That's normal. Up strums, upstrokes, they're a lot more awkward for most people in the very beginning. But we're going to practice, and you'll get better at them. Again, so let's go down. Now let's do this. Now let's go down. And then let's go up. Right? Don't worry about if it's perfect or not. The important thing is this all come together over time as we get better, right? Combination of wrist, forearm. But I want you to focus mostly on that right now, just the pronation, supination stuff. So let's go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, that's it. Okay, a couple tips for this is also really important. So all of this actually has to come together to get a good sound and a good technique on the guitar. So we talked about the pick slants and stuff. You also, remember this, loosey-goosey, all right, wrist deviation. This right here, that sensation, hold your arm out again, let's do it again. Totally relax. And then, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Like that. That is the sensation and the feeling, the relaxation you want in your wrist, in your hand, your arm, all of that when you're strumming. You want to be relaxed like that and nice and loose, no tension, right? So supination, pronation, relaxed wrist, supination, pronation, supination, pronation, supination, pronation. Okay, with strumming, also, if you look at your pick, what we're actually shooting for as well now is to do a little bit of what's called edge picking. And we're going to get a lot more into this too as well when we learn to pick single notes. But what you want is when you're going down on the strings here with these strums, this outward, you could call it, outward edge or outward side of the pick is actually slightly contacting the string first. Right? Before this face part does. Before the face does. If I go straight with the face, it'd kind of look and sound like this. You can hear, even with that, there's a bit of a different tone. It sounds a bit harsher. The pick's getting caught just a little bit more. Even with correct mechanics and technique and supination, pronation, there's still more of like a clackiness to the sound. But if we're in that correct playing position and we're actually on the way down, we're focusing on contacting the string with this outward edge here, what you'll notice is it's smoother, it glides across the strings better, it's softer, right? And that, it doesn't take much, only just like a little bit of that edge effect from that 45-degree angle, and you're gonna have a smoother sound that's gonna feel better. It's gonna tie the technique all together. All of these things actually have to be in place to get the best sound and to make your ease of guitar playing there. You just have to have all of them. If any one of these things are missing, it kind of affects the whole chain, right? So everything's important. Supination, relaxation, not hyperextending the thumb, right? Holding the pick correctly, not having too much pick poking out, too little pick poking out, having it in the right spot in relation to the thumb, not strumming too hard, not strumming too soft, using a little bit of that edge picking, right? Which again, if we're in natural playing position here, that actually will happen organically if everything is set up correctly, right? Pronation, supination. Okay, so all of those things come into play. You want to be nice and relaxed, holding the guitar correctly, of course, right? Having a good guitar pick you're comfortable with. One other thing too, since we're on the topic of strumming, is this little ring right here in your guitar you might notice. So where you pick with the right hand on the guitar does affect the sound quite a lot. You'll notice if I'm way far over here towards the bridge, it's very twangy and kind of thin sounding. If I go right here, we get a bit less of that. It sounds more balanced, a little softer. Right over the sound hole right here. That's what it sounds like. It's smoother. And then towards the neck, right, it's a smooth sound. So music is subjective. Like any one of these could be used for aesthetic effect in some way. Like this, this sounds very kind of Western. But generally speaking, most of the time when you're playing guitar, whether you're picking or strumming, you're gonna want to be playing right in that ring right there, actually, right above that ring. That's the most balanced, kind of best spot to be playing the guitar in. You're gonna get the most even frequency response. The guitar is actually gonna project and cut more and be louder, especially for the listener, especially for my camera guy, my wonderful camera guy, Casey right here. Yeah, so he's able to hear everything better when you get right there. Like, it's kind of like right in the middle of that ring. And the guitar almost tells you to do that. So right off the bat, before we even learned any chords, any songs, anything about music, if you can just practice being nice and relaxed, using that edge, a little bit of that edge picking there to get that smoothness, right? Relaxed wrist, forearm, right? This is actually a combination of extension and flexion when we're strumming. See, the arm is extending and then flexing, extending, flexing. Not hyperextending the thumb, pronating on the way down, supinating on the way up, right? So here's the key, right? This is it. This is like summarize. This is like White Strap in a nutshell. This is guitar in a nutshell. If you can do this, basically, if you can get really, really good at going down and then going up, you can literally play anything. Anything. It applies to strumming. It also applies to picking when we get into that level, like on single strings. But if you can get really, really good at going down, up, and understanding these movements, knowing when to use them, knowing, like breaking things down and knowing exactly when to use them on string crosses or on strums, picking, you can literally play everything. It's just a matter of breaking it down and repeating it over and over again, which again, I'll show you how to do. I'll show you how to practice and break all this stuff down and isolate the string crosses. So, yeah, here's what it is, right? Have you seen The Karate Kid? Hopefully. Yes, if you haven't, then that's actually your first assignment right now is to stop watching this course and go watch The Karate Kid. Not the new one. Watch the old one with, what's his face? What's his name? Ralph Macchio. Yeah, Ralph Macchio. Okay. Actually, funny enough, Ralph Macchio is also in a guitar movie called Crossroads. It's like a cult classic in guitar circles. So yeah, watch Crossroads too. It's a fun movie. But okay, and there's actually a really cool duel at the end with Steve Vai, and yeah, it's a hoot. It's a hoot. But Karate Kid, okay? Ralph Macchio is Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid. Okay, Mr. Miyagi, right? Karate Kid, you remember wax on, wax off, right? Wax on, wax off. Or Bruce Lee even says, I fear the man not that's practiced 10,000 punches one time, but the man that's practiced one punch 10,000 times or something like that. I probably got that wrong, but it's something like that. You get the idea. Anyway, this down, wax on. Pronation. Oh, I mean, oops. That's supination. So supination. Okay. Up, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. So here's your action item. Don't even watch the next video. Don't even go to the next module yet until you feel a little bit comfortable. Nothing here. Just going down, up, down, up. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. You're going to practice that over and over and over and over again. I mean, if it takes a couple days, it takes a couple days. That's totally okay. But do it just this motion for at least 5 to 20 minutes. Every day, just pick up your guitar and do it, right? Like that spot that we talked about in the very first module about having things set up to practice. Just make sure it's right there, grab it and do it. But just go wax on, wax off, wax on, and just do that. You'll know that you're ready for the next video. It's not so much about the sound. You want it to sound smooth, but it's about how it feels. It should feel a little smoother and like a little better after you've done this a few times. As far as speed goes, do slow ones. And try and work a little faster. Right? And the feel, you're gonna feel that things are smoother. You're not fighting with the strings. It should feel smooth. Another tip for you with strums is don't dig in your pick too deep. Like don't have too much pick depth because that will also ruin the sound. But at the same time, you can't be too far away. You wanna, in your brain, almost be thinking about slightly pushing towards the strings, right? Slightly pushing towards the strings, but not too much where you're like dug in. Okay, so wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. That's it. That's it. Do that, and then we'll see you in the next video.